What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the video. My name is BigDonSkillz. I have my boy CrackenStyle here. Tell him a little bit about yourself, Kraken.
So, hello, I'm Kraken, and basically, I'm a variety streamer, and I spend a lot of my time just looking at stuff, playing games, and mostly playing Animal Crossing for the most part.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So the whole purpose of this video is to kind of get, I'd say, a veteran's perspective of the new Animal Crossing game that's dropping in about 2 days now. Someone like myself, the only one I've ever played is the mobile game, so I pretty much count myself as never played Animal Crossing before. So, what do you think? Just first question: what do you think is going to be? Why do you think everybody should be interested in playing Animal Crossing, even if they've never hopped into the series before? What makes this new one so special?
So, the first ironic thing is due to the current event world situation, this series has been known to kind of help people out in tough times.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, this helped me out in the roughest time of my life, this game series, because I got Wild World on the DS in 3rd grade, and it helped me cope with my life, basically.
Okay.
And it kind of helps ease you out of the... It kind of helps you ease out to the world when you really need it. It's there to be there for you when you need to relax and say, hey, listen, I'm stressed out, I need something to do that's relaxing. And it's there for you when you need it the most.
Okay, that's different. And I think that's one thing too with video games in general that really a lot of people who don't play video games tend to overlook that it definitely brings people together of like different types, different styles, cultures, everything. It's just kind of like a big melting pot where two people who may not have, related in one aspect can all of a sudden have a focal point, to talk about or, share moments and experiences with. Okay, so then I also have a question too about someone like myself, for example. I remember when I was younger, I remember when the original Animal Crossing on GameCube came out, and I was probably, I'm gonna just say 9 or 10, just out of guessing, and I was only into like action games. So I see this game with like these animals, and there's no like fighting or there's no action, and that just seems kind of boring to me. So, how do you explain or try and convince someone who's more used to combat focused, maybe even blood pumping action? How can you explain that to someone who is just unfamiliar with this genre of game?
This game, compared to other games, is all about just trying to keep you relaxed. Like, for example, all the music in the game is meant to help you feel like you're in your own little world, relaxed. You're not having to worry about things ramping up or intense. And it's just one of those games that like the music helps ease you into it. The activities you do ease you into it, and it helps really give you a world that's your own. It's not just about like, oh yeah, like we gotta save the world, we gotta destroy the evil of the world. It's
right.
Like, it's a game that's about keeping you relaxed. It's not meant to be hard. It's not meant to be tricky. It's just there for you to do what you want.
Okay.
And it has a lot of customization options from New Leaf onward. So it's one of those sort of games that you can just go back to whenever you want. It doesn't matter.
Right. You can kind of, and I guess that's one of the things with Animal Crossing, correct? Where everything's over time. So it's, you kind of do daily tasks, you sync it up with your real life day, or how exactly does that work?
You should have a daily routine for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
For example, every Animal Crossing game before this has had a routine where gather all the fossils on the ground, find the money rock in your town, which is a random rock. In New Leaf, they added an ore rock that guarantees 1 ore, and you gotta find that. Sometimes part of your routine could be picking up all the fruits and selling them.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be checking your stores every single day. So it's like one of those, it's just like how you would spend your day just looking at everything you have in your town, then just stop when you need to, then go back the next day, rinse and repeat.
Right. So definitely, time management is like crucial in a game like this, is what it seems like you said, having that routine, time management, um, and just being able to, I guess, complete those different tasks. Now, what would you say is the core fundamental concept of Animal Crossing? Because you have games like uh, Minecraft, for example. A lot of people play Minecraft, and someone like me, um, who may be new to this series, and I'm specifically talking about Minecraft, is like, well, what do you do? Like, what's the end goal? There's no, certain games don't really have much of an end goal. And what do you think Animal Crossing has in that perspective? Maybe to either an end goal or just something simple.
The end goal of Animal Crossing is a little tricky. So some people have said the post game is once you unlock every single activity in the game. So like get every store, get every single thing that you can that's unlockable before you start just talking to animals all the time. So like, for example, like every single time you have your store, like Nook's Cranny, for example. Well, that store, if you buy more items from that store every single day, that store will eventually get promoted up to a higher tier store, unlocking more stuff.
Okay. So would you buy stuff from the lower tiers and then kind of escalate it upwards, or?
It escalates upward, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's just the big thing about Animal Crossing is progression, I would say. Is just progressing all your services and stores, like putting stuff in the museum. There's always something to complete in Animal Crossing. And once that's all completed, you're in an endgame state.
But with this type of game, that's going to be taking a long time, right? This isn't something you can just rush through in like a week, It's a game for the long run, correct?
It's a game that will last you if you've played this for the first time, it'll basically last you for 4 years in a row.
Oh, wow. And I remember, I don't know if you've seen this article. I remember seeing an article, it was either that or like a Twitter post, but I guess somebody's grandmother has, I believe it's New Leaf. That's the one that's on the 3DS, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so they own Animal Crossing New Leaf, and their grandmother has like, I'm gonna have to try and find it and hopefully put it in the video, but she had a ridiculous amount of hours is put into the game, and she just like relaxes and plays it on her 3DS, That just kind of seemed like one of the joys and kind of the magic of this series. I think with all the video games that we play, I like I said before, I like my action games, I like my RPGs, my shooters, but it's nice sometimes being able to relax or just have like good vibes. I'm all about the good vibes. I feel like that's something Animal Crossing can definitely bring.
Yeah. I'd say that's what Animal Crossing does in a nutshell, just to give you good vibes at the end of the day. Because that's what the game's designed to do. The history of Animal Crossing, at least the original director of Animal Crossing, basically said in an interview saying, well, I used to live in the forest of like Japan, and basically he moved into the city and was just like working for Nintendo and said, well, maybe I want to make a game that will make me live back my days when I was living at my original home with my parents in the forest or something.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
He designed a game that he wanted that no one else was providing, and that's how Animal Forest was born, which was originally on the Nintendo 64, and it's what we know as Animal Crossing on the GameCube.
Wow. So it started as development for a Nintendo 64 game, but it eventually became the original GameCube version?
Well, I mean, Animal Crossing was Animal Forest on the 64. It was exclusive to Japan in the 60s.
Oh, okay. It was okay. I was gonna say I never heard of it before. Wow, I didn't know about that. Okay.
Yeah, it's the history of the series.
Okay, and just asking you personally, you've played all the games, correct? Or at least all the like mainline games?
I played 4 out of the 5 main lines.
Okay.
Because I never grew up on the Nintendo GameCube.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So I didn't have access to the original Animal Crossing, which I've watched it plenty of times now. But I do know what somewhat of the features that are exclusive to the GameCube version.
Okay.
But
So what do you think? What are some of the improvements you've seen? Because I thought I found it funny where people were like, "Oh my goodness, you know, you can jump over water in the new one." Like how there these little small quality of life changes that to regular people you're like, okay, that wasn't in the old games. What are some new things that you've seen for this new Animal Crossing that the previous may not have had that you think will really help with the game itself?
so in the original 4 games, you had a pre-built town right from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
You have a town where everything's there. You already have a store. You already have a clothing store, a furniture store. You already have houses placed,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't have any control over where your villagers' houses would be placed. Now you start from the ground up. You have nothing starting left, to the point where it was jaw-dropping the first time I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see a bare bones island turn into an actual fully blown town with your effort alone.
Okay, so
It's
you get the entire what am I saying? The entire bit of control from the start is what you're saying. From the get-go, hey, this is my town, this is my creation. I'm gonna do everything essentially.
Yep.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff that's new to it, like terraforming, for example, is completely new to the Animal Crossing series,
Mm-hmm.
where you can create your own waterfalls. You can create your own water, and
Mhm.
basically you can modify the terrain in many ways that you couldn't have done before.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because that's one thing. You can place any building wherever you want and move it whenever you want. It's just all around.
Just
So much
your
more
control.
easier to.
Mhm.
It's more or less your control. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's crucial for a game of this style, especially because you know that the more control you have, the crazier things get. And I feel like one of the parts of the magic that's gonna pop up when the game comes out too is you're gonna see just crazy towns and creations and patterns and having those vibes of just visiting friends. So I think that's like the main thing. Like me personally, I'm looking forward to is being able to play online with friends and visiting people's towns, and I don't know if there's mini games, but just hanging out and chilling. So I feel like that kind of role play vibe is pretty potent, because even games like GTA 5, I mean, their big scene is essentially people just role playing while they're in the game, and that game is a shooter, third person open world shooting game. But yeah, what would be your message, your big message to newbies making a decision on whether or not they should try this new Animal Crossing? What's Kraken's message to the general public?
Well, like I said, this game helps you out with like time where things get rough,
Mm-hmm.
And considering the time we're in right now, I'm not gonna say what it is,
Right.
because because of YouTube stuff.
Right.
But basically, the whole thing is this game is meant to help you out when you're in times of need, or you're struggling to get there in the world,
Mhm.
and considering what's going on right now, I'd suggest anyone picks this up just to help them relax and not have to worry about what's going on out in the outside of the world,
Mhm.
and say, hey, if you're going through a rough time, if you're ever like going through, very serious stuff, please get this game. Has saved many people's lives.
Mhm.
I know it's helped me in my time, considering my pretty dark past.
Right. And that's
So
important, yeah.
and I just still can't believe that it came out, like, this game ironically came out at a time when I needed it most too.
Mhm.
So seriously, pick up this game. It's a really good upgrade from the previous games, but it's just one of those games that I'd highly suggest if you're going through a hard time, just pick it up. It's gonna be worth your time.
Okay. Yeah, I think I think that's more than valid, man. And like even I said earlier in the video, video games help bring people uh just different everything together, you know? And that's just so important for us, you know, to have something, like I said, at a time like this where, you know, the world is panicking, you know. Literally the world is in a big panic right now, especially for here in the US. You see just people just going crazy, and in other countries they have it way worse. So it's good to have something to have a bring a median or have a middle ground to help us all out. So yeah, man, I think that's pretty much all the questions I had. I think that hopefully opens up a good perspective to everybody who's interested. Did you have any questions for me?
So what do you think? What do you think? Because I'm trying to figure out how to word this here. What do you think? Like, what did you think when you first saw the trailer for it?
So back when I saw it, I was, you know, as you get older, I think your mind and your perspective opens up a bit more to things that, like I mentioned, when I was a kid, I would have been closed-minded to. Um, I thought the game had a lot of charm to it. I remember looking and being like, okay, I'm not really sure what's going on here. Especially with a lot of the features that were kind of announced. I'm like, well, that seems kind of basic. But the game had so much charm. And I remember it since the GameCube days, even though I hadn't played it. But it just always had this like side appeal to me where I was like, you know, this seems kind of fun. I was like, this seems like a good streaming game too, something that I could stream. And I noticed that with the Animal Crossing community that y'all are pretty like happy. And I think you kind of explain why, because it can help bring you through those dark times. So I think it was just a pretty cool trailer. And I was just like, oh man, it comes out in March. I can't remember when that was last year. I was like, man, it's coming out in March. Like, that's a while. But I was like, I actually think I want to try this new one, especially with the Switch being portable. And it was just a perfect fit, honestly.
Yeah. Also, like, the Animal Crossing community is very supportive to one another.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, like, most people who play Animal Crossing and, like, transition to other games like, you know, Smash, we're more the nicer people when it comes to that, instead of, like, being like, we're not toxic, we just like to be there for people and help each other out.
And that's important. Like I say, because out in these internet streets, there's definitely no remorse for a lot of things. So yeah, it's good to have that. It's good to have that, like I said, that middle ground where you can just kind of kick back and relax and not have to worry about BS, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that about sums up everything, man. I really appreciate you joining me for this call. It's been good. It's been real. Hopefully this video will be up shortly. I'm gonna do some little editing here in a second. Once again, Animal Crossing comes out on March 20th. So in about a day and a half, it'll be out pretty soon. Hopefully this definitely helps new people that are interested in the game, interested in the series, you know, to make that final decision on whether or not they want to buy it. Once again, don't forget to check out my boy CrackenStyle's Twitch. That's going to be in the YouTube bio. Any other social medias, I'll tag that down below as well. And of course, don't forget to follow me and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this. Once again, I appreciate every single one of y'all. And I will see y'all on the next one. Peace out. Peace out.